Hello, I am 7 here bringing you a StarCraft 2 commentary, ZVT on Backwater Gulch. And this is me, the Red Spiral, up in the top left hand corner, and a Zerg player Stimuli in the top right. Here's a little tip for you guys: if you press the F13 key on your keyboard, you'll earn $100. Yes, you will. Stimuli sending an Overlord down in the bottom right hand corner to scout. There's been a very large influx of Zerg players sitting on ladders. I wonder if it might be just in my league in Platinum or if it's occurring in every other league. But aside from that, Red Spiral opening up with a 10 depot, I'm going to be referring to myself in third person because that's the only way I know how this will work. Supply depot walling off the ramp, sending that 9 SCV down. Unfortunately, not much going on aside from, if you guys have seen the DreamHack tournament or the PTR or the PTSL, the Prodigy Star League team, whatever. It's a 2v2 competitive tournament, and one of the big players I like to see is Destiny. If you don't know him, you should really check him out. He's a really awesome player, part of Team Root. Sending out a scout from Zerg, going for a 14 pool, relatively safe opening, especially since this is Backwater Gulch, with spawn distances being very close. 2 Raxes could be a very prominent thing to happen, especially with this close spawn distance. And if Zerg goes hatch first, it could be very difficult for them to hold off if they don't know. And going into a 14 gas, I presume. Everything looks pretty standard here. 13 gas by the Terran. I'm gonna guess a 15 hatch gonna be done by Zerg, getting 3 drones in the gas immediately for that speed upgrade. Making 2 more drones, waiting up for that spawning pool. Getting an orbital command and a little bit of interesting not walling off here with that supply depot. Instead putting up here for some spotting. Drone maybe gonna do some shenanigans? No, guess not. Getting an orbital command up in the command center. And adding a tech lab onto the barracks. Very odd, a very interesting opening. It's probably gonna be a Reaper expand, getting a 13 gas, 1 Marine. Ooh. It does show that there will be some probability of an early expand, or maybe 5 Rax Reaper. Haven't seen those since previous patches before. And actually not going for a 15 hatch, maybe an 18 or 22 hatch, probably. Getting the queen out and pulling out guys off gas at 100 to get metabolic boost as soon as possible. Not spending too much, wanting to get as many drones on minerals as possible. Getting that queen out, and the first Reaper is arriving. That tech lab being used to block off instead of supply depot. Supply depot being used for some scouting inside the base. Early command turn going up around 20. Vomiting some larvae. And sending out 4 scouting Zerglings to check for any bunkers. Zerg player is floating on quite a few minerals. Should have been going for an expand. Yes, 22 expand. Overlord about to reach the edge of the Red Spiral's base. Adding down 1 more barracks, and gonna be a factory with that 100 gas. Probably. Yes, another factory. Reaper going out to scout, probably checking the Zelnaga caverns. A Zergling coming up to scout the front, seeing if there's an expansion, or maybe Bluefin Hellions. These other 3 Zerglings should be used to scout out the map, or at least grab the Zelnaga towers. Metabolic boost being researched, and 4 drones starting to drone up quite hard. Command center almost done. When it finishes, it should be used to give the Red Spiral enough supply without having to build another supply depot. Getting a refinery about halfway when the factory's done, relatively standard. And creating a few more lings than I think Stimuli should have. Could have been using those on drones, but Doesn't matter all too much, but really could have been using a lot more drones with those larvae. And making 12 more lings, this is really unusual, seeing as he has not really seen all too much. All he knows is that there is a tech lab on the barracks and 1 marine, maybe 2. Maybe expecting some blue flame hellions, or maybe some more reapers. 2 reapers out on the map looking around for some map control. And if I'm correct, Red Spiral has not scouted anything. Yes, using those reapers to scout instead of using an SCV, as every 1 minute the SCV is not mining, it reduces 40 minerals you could have gotten earlier. Just a little tip for you there, which is one of the big players' show. If you don't know him, he's a European player. He does not like to use his SCVs for scouting, except for using them to get some extra minerals. Morphing an orbital command, getting tech lab, and getting some siege tanks out, 3 barracks and a factory. Supply block here a little bit, engineering bay just in case for mutas and +1, and putting the layer in the expo. Very interesting choice, but one reason it could have been done was to give the hatchery over here a little bit more HP, so if a push comes, it's basically a way to buy more time to hopefully get reinforcement to take down any pushes advancing on to the natural. Still supply lock from Red Spiral, not the most clean play, a little bit sloppy, but also on the Zerg side, a little bit too many lings. 21 lings and 20 drones to 26 SCVs. That is a pretty big deal. Now, there's a possibility from going for a Baneling was making so many Zerglings. Those Zerglings are really unnecessary, having not seen any early pressure or very many units from Red Spiral. A ton of Zerglings and a Baneling nest going down. Probably going to be trying to go for a Baneling West with this siege tank up here and siege mode being completed. Any sort of Baneling bust will not seem to have a very good outcome. Layer finishing, probably going to be going for a Spire somewhat later, but with those Banelings going to be a bit delayed. And a few Zergs have been going for a relatively fast Spire, which does give them very vulnerable to early pushes. A large group of Marines up with +1 siege tank coming up. Not transferring any drones to the natural from the Zerg player stimuli. Maybe a blunder there, but then again he does not have very many drones to saturate either base, and a Spire going down, going for some Muta Baneling Ling composition. Getting 4 more drones, not really spitting larva as efficiently as possible. 41 energy, 30 energy, and just missing a few larvas, vomit larvas on those hatcheries. Zergling scouting the expo at 8 minutes into the game. Stim being researched with +1, probably going to be a Stim timing push as soon as that finishes. Adding on another barracks, not getting any tech labs. It has its benefits and its setbacks. Benefits are constantly producing Marines and having more barracks, so if one gets taken out or a reactor gets taken out, production won't be hindered as much. Starport getting started, getting double refineries at the natural. +1 research is done. Supply counts are very even. Drone count for Zerg, 44 to 35. A very good position, but as said before, those lings could have been made into drones, probably getting a third. Getting a third right now, as I said it. Overlords being used to scout the map. Reapers still using for map control. Not much action has happened as of yet, as both players have gone for a relatively fast expansion. "24 lings and centrifugal hooks. The Spire about to pop. 500 gas, but not quite enough minerals to make 5 mutas. Probably going to be going for a big attack with centrifugal hooks finishes, getting some Banelings and mutas out. 3 tanks on the way for Red Spiral. Stim halfway done. +1 completed for Marines. No combat shield though. Medevac coming out. Supply is actually in favor of the Terran player. Not a very good thing to, not a very good spot for Zerg. And a ton of lings out, and a lot of larvae is being saved up. Maybe for Mutilis? Maybe for Mutilis. Not vomiting larvae as well as he could. And a bunch of banelings morphing in. 23 banelings and a single Mutilis. A changeling coming in. Wow. Being able to spot everything, even upgrades if he does check, seeing the tanks, seeing how saturated the main is, and gonna be able to see if any pushes are coming out. And the push is in fact going out with these 3 tanks, a Reaper, a bunch of Marines, and a Medevac. Will Stimuli be able to hold this off? He does have 28 Zerglings, 23 Banelings. It all will come down with control. And if I'm correct, Banelings do have centrifugal hooks completed. Oh, not yet. If the Red Spell does attack before those centrifugal hooks are completed, be a devastating loss. Not bring the Medevac quite a big blunder, but not as much. And the supply still in favor of the Red Spell. Only 1 mute out. And even the worker count is in favor of the Red Spell. 43 to 44, not a very good spot. And gonna be abusing the ledge here with these tanks. Sieging up here, being able to shell this expansion. And there's nothing Zerg can do about it besides coming all the way around here. Jones gonna be taking a lot of damage, and not only that, gonna have to go through 3 tanks being shelled at. Depending on how well Red Spell micros his Marines, this could be very devastating. And Zergling surrounding. So where is the Stim going down? Stim? Okay, Stim going down, taking out all the Zerglings, but the Banelings are coming in. The Banelings taking out the tanks, not going directly for the Marines. Picking up the Marines in the Medevacs. All the splash damage, just taking out all of those Banelings. 8 Marines still safely tucked away in the Medevac. Red Spell floating a ton of minerals and gas. And not making any units. Huge blunder. Well, not as huge as he did just take out the whole army of the Zerg. 77 to 65 supply. 1 Muta, the lone Muta, trying to come out and be the hero Mutalis. Almost taking out the tank. No, not quite. Tank with 18 HP and 15 kill. Tank is a captain. Starting to shell away at this expansion. Looking at the units lost tab. Whoa, the resource tab. Stimuli losing twice the amount of resources as the Red Spiral. Not a good position to be.